Disclaimer. I am a podcaster, motivational speaker, and full-time counselor. And here on this platform, it is my job to talk about current affairs and trending topics that have been discussed, posted, and even floating around on social media. I do not claim to be the voice for all, nor do I claim to know it all. Therefore, remember this if you remember nothing at all. It is okay that we agree to disagree, as long as it is respectful. Every Friday at 7 p.m., I will be talking about whatever I like, and you will have the opportunity to share your voice. Now, if you can handle it, have a seat, and if you can't, feel free to exit stage left. With that being said, let the discussion begin. What's up? Hello, guys. Welcome. It is a new week, which means it is a new show. Hello. Hi. Hello, Eric. Hello, Artina. Hello, Naomi. And yes, that is me in the protest march yesterday. We'll talk about that a little bit later. We want to start the show on time. People will need to catch up because we have a lot to cover in today's show. And I don't want to keep you guys too long, but we do know when the topic is interesting, we get going. So with that being said, I want to jump into today's show really quickly. So I want to just say a couple things. As always, let's talk about house rules, right? So you're here at the show, meaning that if you're visiting the show here, make sure you are a subscriber to the show by way of clicking the notification subscribe icon and click that bell. When you click the bell, there's 3 options there. Click all notifications. That will allow you to be notified when the show goes live. When the show is live, you can then chime into the conversation and not miss anything that we're talking about. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel by clicking the notification bell. Click all notifications, and you should get the notification when we go live. If you aren't being notified when this show goes live, that means you need to refresh the notification bell so that you can be notified. Right? Because a lot of people are telling me they're missing the show, and unfortunately, I'm not sure why until I find out. They need to refresh their notification bell. That's a YouTube thing. I don't know. Right? So also, when you are attending the show, be it live or after the show has been aired, please always do 3 things. Give us a thumbs up if you like what we're talking about. And if you don't like what we're talking about, please, if you are going to give us a thumbs down, make sure you comment why you are giving a thumbs down. Either way, I'm hoping you're commenting up or down, because we can't tell if you're just giving a thumbs down because for what? We don't know. Tell us what you disagree with about the show and overall you didn't like it. And try not to just listen to one part of the show and then not hear the show completely out from the beginning to the end, and then all of a sudden, thumbs down, I don't like the title, thumbs down, I didn't like the picture. Come on. This show has been created for adults who can use their minds and get involved, right? So we want to be a help to the platform, not a dishelp. Giving thumbs downs, that's okay, but tell us why. So don't forget, subscribe, give a thumbs up or thumbs down, always comment. And third but not least, make sure you click share, which is right next to the thumbs down button. Share this, and you will get all these options to where you want to share it to. We want to spread the word about this platform as it is growing and evolving into what it's supposed to be. So you can be a great help in that by liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing. Very easy to do. Just click, 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 like anything else. Okay? Also, to stay in tune with the show, you must remember you have to be following us on these platforms. So, on these platforms where I wanted to tell you to follow, make sure you are following us here, YouTube. Make sure you're following us here on Instagram. Make sure Twitter, and then also here on Facebook. Those are the social sites that this link to this show. If you actually go to my homepage, my banner, YouTube banner on YouTube, you will see the little icons right there. You can just click it and it takes you right to it. So pay close attention. On the homepage of the Voice Gathering Show, where you see my picture, in the top, all you have to do is click any of the little icons there and it takes you to Facebook, Instagram, so forth and so on. Even my linked link page to tell you about the show and more business things, right? So I'm making it easy for you guys to kind of navigate with me. And as you continue or start, let's be honest, start to make a monetary donation. If you donate $1, $2, or you buy merchandise that we have here, right? Mugs and all kind of different things. That money helps me take this brand to another level. So in the description box where my description is about today's show, you will see the Cash App. Cash App, Lovely, 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 Lovly 0615 is my Cash App. That Cash App is for this show. And if you know me, you know that I'm serious about it. It's not about me like, oh, let me go buy. Listen, truly, you can't buy too much with $1. But many people making dollars is going to be great. So please, by all means, use the Cash App. Lovely, Loveyly, Lovely 0615. That's the Cash App. You can make your donation there. Now, I also want to get out of the way. If you want to buy merchandise, right? So we want to talk about merchandise. If you want to support this show, you can. People were asking me, how can I get one of those shirts? How can I get a mug? I want a mug. I want a shirt. So right now we have the shirts, and I'll show you the shirt. We have the shirts in black, and we have the same shirt in white. And then we also have the mugs. Right now we're on back order with the mug. The mug here is the mic logo, and you'll also, some of them have my show logo here. We have different things to promote the show. Right now, we're on back order for the tall mug. So if you are going to put an order in for that mug, you have to remember it's on back order, and we'll let you know when it's ready for shipping. The other thing is you can get it in a short mug. And there's so many other stuff, tote bags and all kind of different things we do here that we're going to be using to promote the show, and I need your support. So grab yourself some merchandise and put it on your shirt, hashtag can you handle it, and so many other different things with the logo of VGL, Voice Gathering Live Show. And let's just start building this show, please. I'm asking you for your support. I'm not just sitting here for entertainment purposes because I'm bored. I'm sitting here because I want to talk with you. I want to have a conversation with you. I want to know what you think. I want to be inspired by you, by your thoughts, and vice versa. I want to give you some mental change that you can put in your pocket. And when you think about something, you can reach into that pocket and pull out something and say, let me think about what I heard on that show. Right? It's an even exchange. I definitely believe that. So, anywho, let's make sure that I cover all house rules. There will be a time for questions and answers, and we do that throughout the show, so you guys know all that. So let's jump into the show. As you can see, today's show is I Can't Breathe. So last week we talked about just what's going on in social media and how it's having a big impact, not in just your community next door, the next state over. It's having a global impact. is having a tremendous global impact. And now we need to keep the fire lit. We can't just say, oh, they arrested this man, Derek, whatever his name is, after killing George Floyd. And now they arrested him, so we're just going to sit back and wait for the verdict. We're going to wait for them to find him guilty because we all seen it and we all believe that he's guilty, right? So we want to keep the fire lit. We don't want to just protest a little bit and then say, okay, well, we're going to take a step back now that people know we're serious. We need to, as much as he kept his knee from 8 to 9 minutes on George's neck, we need to keep our voice on the necks of these people who continue to oppress people of color. We need to not let up 1 inch. Just like he kept that pressure there, we need to keep the pressure on the necks of this this system that continues to just choke the life out of people. Black and brown people, that is. So I was like, okay, well, you know what? We're going to go ahead and keep postponing that relationship show another week. And we're going to continue to have this conversation because it's so much to talk about when it comes to black and brown people and these systems that are in place so that we can't walk through the door before we're judged. We can't submit an application with our name resembling an Afro-American name and being judged. We just need to keep the pressure on. So don't get lost. Don't give up. Stay with the course. Stay with the course, okay? Hello, boo. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you a lot of really quick clips. Some of them are 3 minutes. Maybe I'll cut it in half. But I want you to see what we're talking about as we're talking about it. So I want to actually go to a clip. And I want you to just listen to this, okay? Listen to it, and I'll come back after the clip is finished, and we will talk about it. Check this out.
I have the right to take my black life. My fiance and I bought our first house in District 6 because we thought Fort Worth was where we wanted to be. Over this last year, sadly, we have lost faith in this city, its leadership, that's you guys, and especially the police. After the killing of Atatiana Jefferson, I'm ready to leave because no house is worth losing my life or the life of someone who I love. How can I raise a child in this city that is about to explode because of police brutality? The number one threat on my life is gun violence. Am I supposed to ignore this? We have no faith in justice as it has become obvious that America isn't for us and neither is Fort Worth. How can we hope for justice with the district attorney office led by a known racist when she is backed by the very same police lobby killing us, totally giving her a complete conflict of interest, preventing her objective pursuit of justice for Tate? How can we hope for justice when your very own ex-police chief accuses his former employee, the city of Fort Worth, of racism? Come on now. Fort Worth, your streets are a mess, and it's spilling over into the halls. David Cook, that falls on you. You're supposed to manage this city. Is that not correct? The lack of leadership, that falls on you, Betsy Price. How can we feel safe if we die in our homes? Where are we safe? Maybe in a prison or a box, because that seems to be the only place you want us. How can we feel safe if we're being killed for flashlights? Chief Crouch, you haven't addressed that yet. You don't walk in our shoes. You're for the most part lily white and old. Young black, brown citizens are dying at epidemic rates. Wake up. Jurgis Jordan, you're my city council member. 14 years and you still sit at that same seat like a grand wizard. Betsy Price, your time is up. You have led this city into destruction. You want to spend money on consultants? We want independent citizen oversight. No more money to McKinsey and Deloitte. Also, your resignation for lack of leadership would be nice too. I would call for the FBI, but I have no faith in the federal government led by Trump and A.G. Barr. The system is rigged against us, and I am a walking target. Every day I pull out my driveway, and on my way to work, I fear that I will be killed. The status quo is comfortable for you guys, as you do not live this experience. You don't have guns pointed at you. You aren't being killed for living and breathing in your own home. Your arrogance and lack of compassion speaks volumes. You sit before us, not listening, inattentive, and frankly, disgusting. May you all reap what you sow in the upcoming elections. There is no such thing as a blue life. Every time I see you describe, you desecrate the American flag
Jamal,
and further
that's it.
entrenches
Your
the
time
belief
is up.
that you are against us. You have added to the division
Jamal,
between
your
these
time is up.
If you are a human being like the rest of us, then realize your badge does not give us the right to take my black life. Give us the right to take my black life.
What do you think? What do you think? What are your thoughts? Because you asked me, this is what needs to be done. We are often two times, and when I say we may not be so much everybody joined in that circle, but we oftentimes wait until somebody who's trying to get into the White House to then start voicing our concerns and stuff. And again, that's not everybody. Trust me, it's not everyone that does that. People, start raising their voices way earlier on. But I have to tell you, as black and brown people, we need to do that more often. We need to do that at the front door when it comes to voting mayors, our city mayors, our governors, and all these individuals. We cannot wait till these individuals get to the Senate seat in the White House to talk about these problems that they are oppressing people of color and just people in general. And yes, all races are... Let me retract that, because every race has something to deal with. Every race do, but not like the black race. A white person can't tell me, well, black people, you guys, we're the same. No, we're not. Because if we were the same, if we were treated the same, all of this that we're talking about for hundreds and hundreds of years, we would not be having this conversation in 2020, right? We just wouldn't. We would not be having this kind of conversation. We would be having a whole different kind of conversation. And let me put this out there. Again, every white person is not a racist white person. Every white person is not out there looking for black people to not make it. That's not true. And I'm not going to believe that. I'm not. I've seen it with my own eyes. I know people that care about me as a person. And I can tell you that I don't see them looking at me as a black person. And there's times I've been invited to things and be the only black person there. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Maybe I was just the close friend who happened to get on that list that was of color. We need to open our eyes to the serious things that are going on. Just because all my white counterparts don't invite me to everything, well, trust and believe, I don't want to go to everything my white counterparts have. And I'm not looking at it as a race thing. If they're looking at it as a race thing, that's their problem. I know when someone is treating me unfair. I can feel it without you even saying anything. I can. So I don't believe that everybody who is white is racist. No, there was a lot of people who died with those who marched, those who rallied for people to have rights. Back in slavery time, there were people who didn't know what to do, who knew that the way that the white man was treating people was wrong. So nevertheless, again, that video is to say to you that, listen, stop waiting till these people get to these higher levels where we can't reach them. We need to make sure that we are reaching them and they are touchable on the ground before they get way out of reach. Because once they get out of reach, forget it. Especially because you are a black or brown person. And he was holding them accountable, honey. He didn't utter and pay close attention. I hope you looked at the white faces of those individuals that was in there, raising their eyebrows, making a twitch in their mouth, like, wow, even you're still kind of a nod of a head of the white woman sitting behind him or, past him. Yes, because people know that there are people that saying, no, this is wrong and this is right. This is why a lot of crime in urban communities are happening, because you don't give them a chance. You don't give them the same opportunities that you would give a white person going in the door, so that they can feed their families, that they can take care of their loved ones, that they can go to and from work without being harassed. You're not giving them that fair chance. You have already put a label on their forehead saying this is a black person and they are a threat in their own community. So we need to be very clear that it's important to vote. And stop waiting to vote when it's later on in the election. You need to, as soon as you know the dates of it from voting, again, for your local mayors, governors, and everybody else, you should be, as a person of color, black or brown, we should be the first ones in line. Baby, if the polls open up at 6:30, you should probably be out there 4. Period. No excuse. None. We are accountable when we don't go to the election polls. We are accountable. We just can't say, oh, well, they're not for us, or well, they're not going to do anything for us. Well, this has been like this for hundreds and hundreds of years. And guess what? People of color, our ancestors, our great leaders fought so that we could have a chance to even just go vote. Even if we could, you're voting for something, but you don't get what you want. Go vote still. No excuse. None. So I wanted to show that. I want to show you something else. I want you to look at this video and tell me what you hear. We're looking at a couple of clips here of different things related to the same topic. And I'm looking for you to tell me what you are feeling and thinking when you see these clips. What resonates with you? How can you identify? How do you disagree with that? That is what today's discussion is. Look at this and tell me what you think.
Come here, talk to me. I understand. How old are you?
I'm tired of this
How old
shit,
are you?
I'm 45 years old.
45 and I'm 31.
And I'm tired of seeing
and
this
you
shit,
the
man.
older generation than me, and I am too.
And we've been standing
But let me
around
tell
as
you
the
something.
older ones, taking all this bullshit. Always hoping for a kumbaya.
Come here.
Always standing around for a kumbaya. Ain't nobody coming to protect us.
Let me tell you
We gotta
something.
start our own fucking life.
I understand. But let me tell you something right here. This 16. He's 16.
Oh my They gonna kill him next
He's
week.
16.
What we gonna do?
You tell me.
What we gonna
But this
do?
ain't the way. Because they ready to let loose. If the United States president say, if you loot, we shoot. Do you think doing this going
I
on?
know it.
Do it
I
to
know
him.
But it's time to stand up.
So don't get into it,
At this point, I'm ready to die
Let me tell
for
you
what's
something.
going on.
Let me tell you something.
That's the problem that we
What
got.
you see right now is going to happen 10 years from now. And at 26, you're going to be doing the same thing I'm doing. You understand that? 10 years. You're going to be right here too.
But he also got to
So
stand
what I
up
need
for what he
y'all
gotta
to do
stand up
right
for.
now at 16 is come up with a better way. Because how we doing it, it ain't working. He angry at 46. I'm angry at 31. You angry at 16.
It's old, man. It's old,
You
man.
understand me?
It's old.
Putting yourself in harm's way
I
is
know
not
it.
the way.
No, it's not.
You and then other your counterparts the same age and that has that same power. Y'all come up with a better way. Cause we ain't doing it.
Oh my God.
And I have a 5-year-old son.
Oh my God.
And it ain't happening. I marched 4 years ago, keeping my stop. Did the same shit y'all doing. The same exact thing night after night after night. It don't matter. Come up with a better way. You understand me? You keep yourself on the come here, talk to me. I understand.
What do you think? 40-something, 30-something, and 16 years old. And the one in the middle see what the first one went through, because he also can relate that he's been through the same thing. And here comes this 16-year-old young boy who's going to be a man soon. He's still a kid. And he is standing out there, look like the way this guy's talking to him as if he was getting ready to start tearing some things up. And this guy intervenes and says, no, this is not the way to do it. While the older guy is saying, but what else do we do? 3 generations of individuals talking about the same daggone thing. What do you think? I mean, listen, I know because here I am having the same conversation about what I remember my grandmother, rest her soul, talked about. Watching tons and tons of videos, talking to many, many elders about what they had experienced. Listen, if you want to educate yourself on some real history, surround yourself around some of these old people. Yeah, you're going to learn some new stuff by the new generation. Yes, especially if they educating themselves in knowledge. But you know where the wisdom sits at? It sits with the old seniors, those who have been through something. That is where you pick up your wisdom from. Many times people say, girl, you got an old soul. And I would not exchange my old soul for this new generation soul for nothing. Now, I know how to have a good time, but the wisdom that I'm seeking is from those who've already done this. Because we're not recreating anything. It's already been done. We need to figure out how to do it different. And yes, although we frustrated, mad, aggravated, pissed off, and all those different things, understand we have to do something different. Maybe different for you is that you had a rally of 10 people. This time you got a rally of 15, 25 people. It's different. Because those extra voices are what you didn't have before. We need to be doing something different. And going back to the video with the gentleman talking to this young guy, this young male, it nearly brought me to tears he's breaking because he has a 5-year-old child that's coming up behind this 16-year-old. And what will be different for this 5-year-old child when they reach that age? Because if we're looking at history, it just keeps getting worse. As soon as we get a little reprieve or something gets a little bit different, because I dare say better, different, that's what I mean about keeping the pressure on. Then people who want us, they got a little bit something, they calm down. All right, shut up. No more shutting up. No more being quiet. No more. No more. No more. Talking about because we're moving this show really quick because there's a lot of stuff. Talking about young people. Again, I saw this video. Well, before I go to this video, let me tell you what I did yesterday. So yesterday I got in, there was a rally going on in my community. And there were, to my surprise, this rally had been started by 2 16-year-old Afro-American females, 2 girls of color. Black and brown girls. Let's just call them that, right? So they started this rally, and I went, and the chairperson who was the chaplain that came out, and there were different people out there, and they were talking. So I'm looking around to see who were the people that started it, and my cousin, she was there as well, and she was saying, I think these are the 2 people that started, and they were teenagers. So I'm saying to myself, is that them? Because of course I was ready to network because I wanted to invite the individuals on the show. And then I saw that there was these 2 16-year-old young girls, and I was like, wow. So the police department came out to support, the chaplain came out to support, and different people came out to show their support. And there was a lot of adults there. And I just want to show you, if I can, a couple of, just look at this. They're out there. I mean, these are young people.
so small. It's like you forget it exists. Yeah. Most of the issues they have is like Amazon warehouse thefts. Yeah. And you have the light rail station there.
Crazy. I just got off the phone with my dad because they're out in Minneapolis moving my brother right now.
Oh crap! They were.
Don't put your hands in your pockets. Don't put your hoodie on. Don't be outside with no shirt on. Check in with your people. It don't matter even if you're down the street. Don't be out too late. Don't touch anything you're not buying. Never leave the store without a receipt or a bag, even if it's just a pack of gum. Never make it look like there's an altercation between you and someone else. Never leave the house without your ID. Don't drive with a wife beater on. Don't drive with a do-rag on. Don't go out in public with neither. Don't ride with the music too loud. Don't stare at a Caucasian woman. If a cop stop you randomly and start questioning you, don't talk back. Just compromise. If you ever get pulled over, hands on the dashboard, and ask, could you get out your license and registration?
This is what's happening. We're on that kind of high alert. So going back, I was out there with the people in my community marching, and I live in a very diverse community. So there's a lot of white people in my community. My neighbors are white. There are a lot of Afro American. The high school, the middle school, the junior high school. These schools are very diverse. So the individuals in the community have no other choice but to kind of intermingle with each other. Right? So you find that they start dating and liking and stuff like that. And yet, one of the girls who spoke at the rally, when they asked, did anyone have anything to say, she talked about being someone living in a diverse community. She talked about how she goes to school with black and brown other kids as well as white kids, and some of these white kids call themselves her friend, and she has heard her white friends use the N-word and kind of think those kind of things are funny. And it brought her to tears because she started challenging the white friends and the people that marched with the black and brown people yesterday, that when you see your friend who is white using this language or saying things that's totally inappropriate when it comes to the black race, you need to call them out and not laugh with them or ignore it, because you perpetuate the situation. These were young people talking about this. Now we got social media. So social media is allowing, people are saying, well, oh my God, these young people are just talking like they've been here so long. Well, remember, back then there was no social media. You were physically out there. Now social media is everywhere. And where is it? It's right in your face. So the young people who live on social media, that's all they are seeing. It's racist comments, judgment, discrimination. It's 24/7 because they're always on their phone. So they're in the midst of these things while it's happening. So now let's talk about the adults. As adults, when you got a non-black and brown friend using language that's totally inappropriate, but you still maintain that friendship, or you don't say anything because you kind of don't want to make them feel funny or uncomfortable, well, it's time to make them feel uncomfortable and question those comments. It is absolutely time. Because if we don't start holding people accountable about the language they use and how they identify us, or how they think things are funny when it relates to black and brown people, we are perpetuating those things. We are. We are. I always feel like I have to tell you guys I'm reading your comments, because I used to look down here, but I'm looking over there now. But yeah, I'm just checking out what you're saying because I want to be in tune. You got that right, Miss Finney. You got that right. They have been making us uncomfortable for hundreds of years. For years. And some of them didn't bat a lash, had any kind of uncomfortable feeling about themselves about doing it. They felt they were right. And in their position, we right. So it's time for us to shake it up. Shake the dirt off in it. Let's keep it moving. We got a lot to talk about. Oh, going back to one thing. The young boy in the TikTok video. Profound. For me, profound. He didn't use inappropriate language. He made a clear statement. These are the things you can't do when you're black and brown. Give them no reason. Now, understand that why is that we have to take the extra step to give them no reason? So I can't, or he can't wear a tank top, wife beater, because that will stereotype you. You can't be brushing your waves and keeping your hair sharp before you go out, so you throw in your do-rag, because that's stereotype. You can't just hear your favorite song on the radio because it just moves you on the inside that you turn it up, because it stereotypes you. Or just being born and living in a certain part of the community, you're a stereotype. We must shake things up. There's some people in this comment that are parents of, matter of fact, because I'm still waiting for people who are not black and brown, because everybody of every ethnicity is welcome to this channel, for sure. Because if we're not willing to have the uncomfortable conversation and people take accountability, there's not going to be any change. So I don't want any person who is not of a black and brown to view this show later and be like, I'm not going there, and I'm going to give it a thumbs down. Be bold, stand in your truth. And when you give the show a thumbs down, if that's what you do, give us a thumbs down and tell us what you mean. Come and join the conversation. And matter of fact, that is my challenge to non-black people. If you want to know what we are talking about, if you want to understand the feelings that we are expressing in the chats, if you want to know why my commentary is what it is, join the conversation. I just ask that you join the conversation with an open mind and get ready to take some accountability if it applies to you. And matter of fact, it probably does apply to you, because if you're not using racist language, judgmental stereotypes, and all those kind of different things, then I would tell you that if your friends are using it, you're just as guilty if you don't call them out. If you don't cut it from the root and pull the root out, it's going to grow again. So we need to be shifting this culture moving forward. So I truly enjoyed this. Okay, let's check out this next video.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you do or say will not matter at this point, because your skin color has already confessed to the crime. You have the right to an attorney who will try his hardest to see that justice is served in a jury of our peers, aka our attorneys, who will have to amount match 12-1. If you cannot afford an attorney, he won't be appointed to you free of charge, because he's also on our payroll. Do you understand these rights as they have been read to you? Whoa, 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 whoa. I see you reaching for your 9mm wallet. I see you reaching for your .38 caliber inhaler. Don't move. Stop breathing. You're puffing up your chest. I feel threatened. Is that a weapon? Lay down, no. Face down, no. Face ground. Pow. Oops, I did it again. I'm a pop star. No, I'm a pop star. No, I'm a cop star. By the time I get back to the precinct, I'll be a rock star. Platform. I have more black names on trophy.
Come on, people. Come on, young people. Come on. We just not going back. We're not going back. Did you hear what he wrote? This young generation is paying attention, and they're saying no more. You know, back in the 60s, wasn't born there, when 50s and 60s, when dogs were sicked on young people, they were young people. Just look at it. It was happening. And what I'm starting to notice, especially with these recent murders, let's not even call them killing, these recent murders, I am noticing that these young people are saying no. So I want to take a little pause right now and talk about what young people are doing. Rioting and protesting. We have to understand and be very careful that we don't shine and continue to give them reason. Let me just say that. They're going to have their own reason. So I'm not saying they don't have reason, because they make up their own reason to continue to shine a light on us that's very negative. Very negative. But we don't want in our peaceful protest to get out of control, to give them an excuse, let's call it that, to shine a light on us, to say, see, we're not being so judgmental. See how they act. They're already going to find flaw in anything we do. So I am commending the people who are marching and protesting in peace. I mean, if you're using profanity and cursing out and just going off, but you are not breaking things, you're not burning down your community. And you know what? I'm going to be very transparent. Every time I watch a video or see something, there's a part of me that's saying, you know what? I get it why they're burning down things. I get it. And then I have that awakening, that inner spirit shaking, and it corrects that and said, no, it's just not the answer. It's not the answer. It makes no sense to burn down your community. They won't even allow you to leave that community and move up in another place where there are different diversities, because they don't want us there in that community. They started going and making a ruckus and, peeking through the curtains. Oh, black people moving next door, across the street, down the street, across town. Black people are moving in. So they already don't want you moving where they are. So we can't destroy the little bit that we do have access to. Talking about the rioting and looting and stuff. I watched this video and I thought I meant to bring it on today's show. This was a young woman, and she, they were out, people were protesting. And then you see these two women go over to a building and they're graffiti and writing through with a can of spray paint, Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. And the girl is screaming, and you can hear somebody who's not on camera, please stop. Please don't deface the building. Please stop it. That's not what we're here doing. Please stop it. And I couldn't see their faces because the women were turned away and they had a mask, and one had her head wrap. And when she turned around, these were two women, white women. Now, I'm not surprised, because if you've been paying attention to the media, you will see that a lot of this looting, a lot of this graffiti and destroying property and tearing down trees and burning things are not all black people. Let's be clear, white people. Let's be clear, media. This is not all white people. So, excuse me. I challenge my viewers that you make sure you understand and correct people. It's not all white people, black people doing this. That is a lot of non-black people, non-black and brown people destroying property. You got these racist people coming into saying they're for the cause. They're for the cause of Black Lives Matter with their own hidden agenda. So they come in defacing things, and what the media wants you to believe is that, oh, well, see, look at them, they're out there looting, when it's not them that's doing it. Some of them. Some of them. It's not all black and brown people doing this. I see them out there, yes, and I'm not going to give us a pass when we're out there destroying our own community. No, just because we're outraged and frustrated and we're tired of being sick and tired, you don't get a pass for destroying your community. You don't. We are trying to keep the light on. Our lives do matter. We don't need you out there destroying the community which you still got to live in, or black and brown people who will eventually come through that community and want to set up home there. Can't stay there because the community is destroyed. So no, we don't get a pass for doing that. We need to step up and be responsible. We need to be responsible to one another, first to ourselves and to one another. We have to be. When you see your people doing something that's inappropriate, that's going to be shine negatively on us as a whole race, you need to be encouraged enough to pull the coattail of them verbally or however they're close to you, that you can do it safely and say, yo, this is not acceptable. And I'm not going to stand back and just watch you just like do this and I got to live in this community. It's just not going to happen. Let's talk about your president. And based on the comments, honey, I do not believe that any of you probably vote. No, child, none of y'all voted for Donald. All right, so that's not your president. So maybe somebody else will come in later and check out the show and say, oh, yeah, I voted for him. So since you voted for him, then your president. But for us who did not vote for him, he's not our president. He's a man that's occupying the White House and is totally a fool. So this man that's operating the office, sitting in the Oval Office, decided to deploy the military in Washington, D.C. because he wanted to disperse the peaceful protesters. So there is a church, and yes, Donald Duck, honey, there is a church that been there 18 something for a very long time. There's a church there, and many presidents before this man went into the Oval Office have gone to this church. The church priest, I forgot what you call her. She spoke and she talked about how he had brought a disgrace to the church and the worshiping of God, because he decided to, and I want to show you just the pictures of Daffy Duck. Hold on. I want to show you this picture here. This is a picture of this man, right? This man decided to have the military forcefully remove peaceful protesters by shooting tear gas, rubber bullets, and all other stuff at peaceful protesters to clear a path so that he could walk his Daffy Duck behind over to a church that stands on the premises of people coming to protest peacefully and come to worship in the space of this church, so that he could go and take a photo op. Okay? And I want to just make sure, yes, he wanted to take a photo op with the Bible. He wanted to have a photo op with the Bible. Now, understand, he didn't open the Bible. He didn't read a scripture from the Bible. He didn't pray with the Bible. He didn't say, let's have a moment of silence with the Bible. He's pointing to the media with cameras so that they can take a picture of him with the Bible. And he stood in front of the church. He didn't even go inside the church. The same person who decided to deploy the military to clear a path so that he can walk down like he's the Holy of Holies has just demonstrated the same thing that police officers who are white do to black and brown people on the day in, day out basis. That's what he did. He just mimicked the same thing that we're standing and protesting and fighting for. He did this because he could. That's what he did. He did it because he could. And those white people in the White House with him who didn't say to him, this is a bad thing, please don't do this. It is going to show and shine a negative light on white people, your position as the president, and that people of brown and black and brown are saying no more. You just gave the okay to do that. Really, Donald? Now, listen, I am a person of faith. I truly believe in God. I pray, I fast, I seek forgiveness for my sins. I believe. I am not in a position, per my faith, to judge Donald's faith. I do scratch my head and say, what kind of person is this? Is he a person of faith? Does he believe in a higher power? Because when the woman from the church, and it sounds so disrespectful, talked about him holding the Bible, there was, let me just make sure, guys. It stated that there were lawmakers, religious individuals who were totally upset about the position he took to clear the path, have the military do what they do to peaceful protesters so he can go take a photo op. And per the way she's talking, oh, honey, when you're talking about having a cinch foot, I just do not, and I don't have in heaven or hell to put him in. But the way I worship or try to get to my higher God, I don't know how he's getting in. I just don't know how he's getting in. But that's between him and his higher power, if he has one. Because I don't want to be judged for my observation of his poor way of working and dealing with people. And I'm sorry, you can't tell me that Donald Trump is not a racist. Because he is. He's racist, and I know it. And if you shut your eyes to it, then maybe you don't want to see it. And you know what? If that works for you and you sleep well at night, okay. But if it walks like a duck, quack like a duck, and it has that kind of color skin, it's a duck. You'll catch that one later. Okay. So, I want to just, you guys, to look at Keisha Lance Bottom, and she talked about her just observation, and I thought it was just so poignant about Donald.
Trump has been tweeting about the violent protests across the country. He vowed to step in and use, quote, the unlimited power of our military, and he suggested the local officials should, quote, get tough and fight. He's also talked about threatening the most vicious dogs and most ominous weapons I have ever seen to use against protesters in Washington, D.C. What do you make of the way the president has handled this crisis?
He should just stop talking. This is like Charlottesville all over again. He speaks and he makes it worse. There are times when you should just be quiet, and I wish that he would just be quiet. Or if he can't be silent, if there's somebody of good sense and good conscience in the White House, put him in front of a teleprompter and pray that he reads it and at least says the right things, because he is making it worse.
President Trump has been tweeting about the violent protests across the country.
I 100% agree. I need him to sit down until someone with some kind of common sense type out a script for him, put it on the teleprompter so he could read it the way he'd read, so slow and tight-lipped. Because his rhetoric is going to cause people to continue to riot, loot, and do all kind of things, and it's going to put us more at a disadvantage. And that will give him, based on what he thinks, more reason to deploy the military to come into our communities and force us to be submissive to what he wants, the way he wants us to do it. Now, I'm all for peaceful protests. I am. Trust me, I am. And yeah, you're going to be screaming. You're going to be marching. Yes, we can still be. We don't have to do the opposite to get our voice heard. We can do the right thing and still get our voices heard. Now, listen, just because we getting our voice heard don't mean they're going to move. But that don't mean be silent and just like, well, I'm not going to say anything because they're not going to do what I want. They're not going to do what I want, what we want them to do. You still got to be raising to the rooftop. I also want to now show you, when I tell you that this young woman, I want to make sure I have her name right. So bear with me 1 second, guys, because everything comes, everything comes up. So people send me things all the time, and I'm so happy that you guys are sending me stuff so that I would have it for the show, or you would like me to discuss it on the show. Okay, so I want to show you a video of this activist, and I want to make sure I get her name right. Tamika Marlowe, who is an activist. She used to work with Al Sharpton. But when I tell you, she gave a powerful speech, honey, and I was like, one of my girlfriends, she was like, honey, let him burn everything down. Just let him burn it down. And then she started seeing more and more and says, listen, it's not cool. Yeah, I'm all about, but yeah, we need to get some control about this whole burning things down and stuff like that. So I want to show you a video of Miss Tamika actually talking. And when I tell you that she stirred something up in my spirit, and I was like, oh, okay, yes. You're saying exactly what I needed to hear. So, guys, just watch this video and tell me what you think about it, and we'll keep it moving.
Is because this city, this state would prefer preserving that white nationalism and that white supremacist mindset over arresting, charging, and helping to convict 4 officers who killed a black man. That is the reality of what we're dealing with. This is not just a few cops doing things across the country. This is not a good cop versus bad cop situation. This is Ahmaud Arbery being shot down by white men on the streets of Georgia. Breonna Taylor being killed in her home. This is in New York City, where we were until freedom. We were just in New York fighting the police officers.
What do you think? What do you think? That was a powerful, I want to make sure you guys were able to actually get everything. That was a powerful step up in regards to Tamika speaking. And I want to make sure, I'm sorry guys, I hope that you did, I didn't mess that up for you. Please bear with me. I want to make sure you get it because I think I cut you guys off.
Who in the name of social distancing were damn near killing black young people on our streets. This is a coordinated activity happening across this nation, and so we are in a state of emergency. Black people are dying in a state of emergency. We cannot look at this as an isolated incident. The reason why buildings are burning are not just for our brother George Floyd. They're burning down because people here in Minnesota are saying to people in New York, to people in California, to people in Memphis, to people all across this nation, enough is enough. And we are not responsible for the mental illness that has been inflicted upon our people by the American government, institutions, and those people who are in positions of power. I don't give a damn if they burn down Target. Because Target should be on the streets with us, calling for the justice that our people deserve. Talk about it, Tamika. Where was AutoZone at the time when Philando Castile was shot in a car, which is what they actually represent? Where were they? So if you are not coming to the people's defense, then don't challenge us when young people and other people who are frustrated and instigated by the people you pay. You are paying instigators to be among our people out there throwing rocks, breaking windows, and burning down buildings. And so young people are responding to that. They are enraged, and there's an easy way to stop it. Arrest the cops. Charge the cops. Charge all the cops. Not just some of them, not just here in in Minneapolis, charge them in every city across America where our people are being murdered. Charge them everywhere. That's the bottom line. Charge the cops. Do your job. Do what you say this country is supposed to be about, the land of the free for all. It has not been free for black people, and we are tired. Don't talk to us about looting. Y'all are the looters. America has looted black people. America looted the Native Americans when they first came here. So looting is what you do. We learned it from you. We learned violence from you. We learned violence from you. The violence was what we learned from you. So if you want us to do better, then damn it, you do better.
I felt that. I felt that, like, you know, I even have my eyes water right now. I felt that. She was on point. What a lot of people of color are doing is what they learned. You understand? What we do, we're taught that. And when I say we, meaning people, period. Black, white, brown, green, orange, we're taught that. We're taught that. We are taught that. We're taught it. So when we start to fight back, when we start to fight back, then all of a sudden you have a problem with our fight back. Why do you have a problem now? It worked for you. Why do you have a problem with that now, that we need to use the same tools? Why do you have a problem with that? I see you, Allie, in the comments on Facebook. Thank you for joining. This is your first time here, so you're no longer a virgin. I can't wait till you come over to the YouTube page, because that is where the comments are happening. You'll see a lot of people. I love you too. You'll see a lot of the comments, but I appreciate you being here, Allie. Thank you so much. So yes, understand that we have to be the change. We have to be. If we're not the change, and if we don't demand the change, there will be no change. We can't rest in this. I want to wrap up today's show. If you have not seen the video by Nick Cannon, one of my girlfriends sent me this, said you have to see this video. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I need to see the video. Let me check out this video. So she says, you need to see this video. And when I tell you I listened to it and you couldn't miss the words, I couldn't play it on today's show because they will block the show. And because we have good content, I don't want to have to be this a show I can't air. So I did not put the video on. But I want you to check it out. It's Nick Cannon's video, I Can't Breathe Again. Please, when you get off today's show, go right on YouTube real quick. Type in Nick Cannon, I Can't Breathe Again video. Listen to the words. Don't get lost in the little pictures. Listen to the words, and the pictures would resonate with what he's saying. Powerful. Absolutely powerful. Powerful. When I tell you the tears in my eyes welled up. Powerful. It needs to be an anthem again for us. During these marches, playing it loud so they can hear it. It needs to be playing on everybody's station on something. Powerful. I encourage you to watch it. I encourage you to be inspired by it, to challenge people, to call people out, and not give people any kind of rest in what we need them to do. Also, I just want to go back really quickly about Keisha Lance Bottom talking about when individuals were rioting and looting in Atlanta. And I should have brought his video. I did not. And now I'm just thinking about it. I'm sorry, guys. His name escaped me. Killer Mike and T.I. came to speak when she was talking. Definitely YouTube Killer Mike speak in Atlanta regarding the riots, and powerful. Because Keisha Lance Bottom talked about how a lot of where they were rioting and burning down building is owned by a lot of black people. So it goes back to you're destroying your own community, the community that's bringing um, a leg up for us. So we need to be careful. We need to be mindful. We need to be aware that we can't just rest in that. We can't just set aside and destroying our own community. We can't rest and give up that no one's listening to us. So I'm done talking. We can't give up to the point that we don't feel like our vote matters. We can't give up to the point that we're saying that we're not going to call those individuals out who actually think it's okay to continue to use inappropriate language when they're talking to us. And let's be clear about this whole inappropriate language. I have a problem with the word the way we use the N word amongst people of color. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't see how it's really a word of endearment. Like we took a word that they use to hurt us and we turn it into a word of endearment. I just don't think we should be using it, period. I think we're all guilty at some point thinking it or using it in a way of just, I don't think we should use it. I just don't. I know people are like, well, we use it as a word of endearment. It's just not, to me, it's just not a word of endearment, But that's just my point. We can do better too. Yeah. So I want to make sure I covered everything, and I think I did. Oh, sorry. One more thing. I'm looking here. If you didn't get a chance, also check out Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's open letter. OMG, when I tell you powerful, and you can't see it here. You can't see it here, but I want to show you. It's so much. And I don't know if I can actually, let me see if I can make it big enough so you guys can see. Hold on, guys. Trying to make sure because I don't know if you can really see it. Okay, so let me try to read it for you guys. Hold on. So in the Los Angeles Times, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar wrote, and it was profound. He stated, yes, protests often are used as an excuse for some to take advantage. Just as fans celebrating a hometown sport team champion burning cars and destroying storefronts. Okay, let's move this up. I don't want to see store looting or even buildings burn, but Afro-Americans have been living in burning buildings for many years, choking on the smoke as the flames burn closer and closer. Racism in America is like dust in the air. It seems invisible even if you're choking on it. Until you let the sun in, you can't see it. As long as we keep shining the light, we have a chance of cleaning it wherever it lands. But we have to stay vigilant because it always is still in the air. That's what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said. And I'm like, thank you, Mr. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's absolutely right. We must keep the light on what's happening. We must continue to share a voice. We must never be submissive to what we know is wrong, even if it costs you something dear. A lot of police officers are now speaking up. I needed these police officers to be speaking up a long time ago. Let's be clear. I needed them to have a voice a long time ago. But I do understand officers are not willing to risk their pension. They're not willing to risk how they pay their bills and care for their family, their career that they invested in. I get it. But if we don't risk some things, we'll lose everything. And until Black lives matter, how can any lives matter? So we must understand, stand united. Don't give these individuals a reason to let them think that we have taken our foot off the situation. Guys, I'm thanking you so much for joining the show, sharing your truth, being transparent, believing in what you believe in, having an open mind about some of these things that you don't agree with, and that maybe you can look at it from a different lens. This is what the show is about. Again, my motto is we can agree to disagree. As long as we're doing it respectfully, then there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with it at all. Nothing. It's our job as a people. Because when the white people, non-black and brown people come into the chat, it's our job as a people. If we want change, we must unite across the lines for the change. When you're in your community, black and brown people, you need to be walking the change. You need to be setting up your children's for generations to come to be able to live in a space that you didn't really have an opportunity to live in or that you weren't born into. It's our responsibility to do that. We can't say, well, we're going to wait till they change, then we'll change. No, we need to be the change. Yes, people want to be talking about, well, black people killing each other in their own community. Well, we're not going there because that's not the... Yes, I'm not going to ignore it. It has happened. It does happen. But I'm not giving an excuse, but I'm willing to say that a lot of what's going on with black on black crime has a lot to do with the crime from other race to black people, and now black people just not thinking and taking this kind of action. It's not acceptable. It's wrong too. It's absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. But I'm not going to give you a pass. Because like in the comments, it's two different topics. We working on doing better. But while we working on doing better in our own community, those of you who don't live in our community, and even those of you who live in our community that is not black and brown, we need you to do something different too. Because see, this was not a black problem. Non-black and brown people made it a problem for us and required that we adapt to the situation. And we say no. We're no longer adapting. We're no longer treading water. No. I want to see your comments before we leave because I'm wrapping up. There's a book out about an ex-police officer who blew the whistle and has been living in hiding for years because there is a hit on his name escapes you. So Eric, when you remember the name, please feel free to come back to today's show, drop it in the comments, go to live comments, and you'll be able to see the old comments. So, or if you don't, just drop it in there. That's fine. So that people who come back can see what the name is. Thank you so much for sharing that. Hello, Miss Alexander. I'm glad you were here. Thank you for being here. To all my viewers, thank you so much for being here and joining today's show. We are going to see how this is moving forward, and will we continue to be having this conversation on Friday, or will we venture onto a different topic and come back to this on a later show? We'll see. I don't know, but you can always follow Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter so that you can see what we'll be talking about on the show. Thank you so much, guys. So much. You are truly my number one Black Diamonds. I say that because you know that Black Diamonds are a hard, beautiful stone. That coal goes through a processing pressure, and the gem that comes out of it is amazing. So I thank you guys so much for standing by me. I wish you all well. Stay healthy. Wear your masks and your gloves. Keep your social distancing going on. Make sure people respect your space. And always remember that love is all we got. And until we realize that, we have nothing else to give. Be good to one another as I am to you. All right? Bye. Mwah.